All right, guys. So we're live. So just for my guys on Patreon, just let you know I'm taking questions. I will answer the questions to the best of my ability. And what I mean by the best of my ability is there are certain things I'm just not going to say out loud because, it's like if I can't give too much sauce. Remember, we're public. This is something that's really private. I'll do some days I'll go private where I won't hold things back. But we're live now, guys. So everybody in Zoom, if you got questions, let's get it started. We're on this thing for about 40 minutes and then we're getting off here. So get it in while you can. Take advantage. Any questions you had.
KB, how do you respond to like say like so I've been in a relationship with this girl for 2 months and then she all of a sudden hits me with like I love you and like how do you how do you like say I could respond to that?
This is actually an excellent question. I had just because I'm making a course, right? I'm making a complete comprehensive alpha relationship course with like literally all these topics. It's going to cover everything, right? Everything from, and I did a slide on this exact topic, but it's going to cover everything. And it's so funny you asked this question. So, what I can tell you before I just give you an answer, before I give you like a complete understanding, what did you say to her? That's what I want to know.
Well, I said, well, I was like being joking about it. I was like, oh, you love me? I love me too. Self care is very important, and like, cause I wasn't trying to say I love you back, cause I don't.
Nice, nice. That's a really good response. Now, and how did she react to that? Was she upset?
Yeah, she was a little upset. She's like, why'd you say that? And she swore at me.
She swore
Yeah,
at you.
yeah, but like I had to check it because like I'll be watching the videos. I'll be like, well, I don't play that. And then, but she walked away. She got mad at me. But I fixed that. I hung out with her today, and like we were cool today though. So
But no, just to be straightforward, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. Whenever somebody whenever somebody tells you I love you and you're not ready, um, you don't say it. You don't say it back. You did the absolute right thing, and I advise you to not say it until you're ready. Now, if you do explore Patreon, I did put a video on it, and this is why I'm making the course. So everything is going to be in order and chronological order, and which things should be done. But you handled it the right way. Now, you can be honest with her if it does come up in conversation again. But this is a really good position to be in. You know, I feel like relationships worked very well when um, the woman loves you a little bit more than you do her, right? And even if that isn't the case, you shouldn't say that word either way. And you should make sure there are certain steps that you go through before um, saying "I love you" to a girl, and before you even let that out, even if you do mean it. But for everybody on live, if you want to know the answers to that. Um, Either join Patreon or you wait for the course to come out. The course should be done sometime next month. But you did handle that right. Another thing that you could have said was, I'm just not there yet. Like I'm pretty sure eventually I will. We're on a great trajectory for me, being in love with you, but I'm just not there yet. And it's okay that you love me. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna join you in that union soon enough. But you just tell her straight up, um I'm just not there yet. And that's simple, you know. And to furthermore, when you know how to create love, um, when you get to a place like myself and you understand how humans work and you understand how game works and love works, it kind of takes the fun out of it. Love is never really the same. Even though I still do love and I still do love women and I can still fall in love, but it's not as exciting as it was before when you know how this shit works. But to answer your question in short, you handled it perfectly. And don't say it until you're ready. And a little key, take your time on saying it. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
thank you, KB.
No problem. If you got more questions, ask. And look, I'm here for another, 38 minutes. So get to talk.
We'll see if the other guys have questions.
All right, guys. If you got any questions, jump in. Like I said, guys, before, if you're on the Zoom, don't put anything in the chat. Don't put anything in the chat unless you're like just chatting. That's fine, but don't put any questions in the chat. Is what I mean because I'm not going to answer those. If you want your questions answered, hop on the up on the mic and let's talk. I waited after 7 months of hitting it and to say it, and 8 to make a relationship official. I'm the best at this shit. Course coming soon, guys. If you like these shades, go to fishermancentral.com and get your fisherman glasses today. We have other models too. All right, guys, come on, jump in. If you guys don't have any questions in the meantime, I'm gonna read some questions from TikTok, whatever questions I can answer without giving away too much. How to get rid of the boy best friend. Oh, that's on Patreon. That's easy, and it's gonna be on a course. I'm gonna make the course is not gonna be super expensive. I know a lot of guys have courses for like $1,000, $800, $900. My shit is gonna be below $200. It's gonna be below that. So, but how to get rid of the boy best friend? If you don't want to wait for the course, subscribe to Patreon. The answer's on there. That's really easy too. But you got to be patient. A lot of you guys aren't patient. Bro, my girl said she is too tired now and she's afraid of attachment. Should I break up? No, you shouldn't break up. Ask her, do she want to break up? Since she don't want to get attached. But I don't know what that's a very vague question. You might have other issues. How to deal with no motivation. You got to dig deep inside. Probably look at the food you're eating. Can you get rid? You either what? You can't get rid. You either leave her or she leave him. Simple. I don't know what you're talking about. How to get a divorce. Actually, that's a really good question. So I helped one of my clients get a divorce from his wife, and he had to pay no child support, no alimony, no nothing. And because there's a way of getting a divorce, and one of our I don't want to say it's a state, it's like a protectorate. It's a part of the United States, but I don't think it's actually like a state. But there's a way to get a divorce, and I figured it out without paying child support, without having to going through court proceedings. And the judge in particular area, considered a part of the United States, they will honor it, and because one of the countries that are considered a part of the United States protection or whatever, property, territory, whatever, they still operate under Spanish law, so it's a little different. So I got a hack for that. I haven't exactly made the video on that. I wouldn't know where to start with that, but I think I'm gonna put that in my course too. This shit is gonna be covered. The course is gonna be the best thing since sliced bread. I'm telling you. I don't want to charge crazy amounts, but listen, this shit is gonna be crazy.
Yo, KB.
Shoot.
So why do men get comfortable? I remember you talking about 82% of divorce rates are from women, and how come men fall out of their game and stuff? What can you just explain that deeper to me, please?
Well, it's not that men necessarily fall out of the game. Men don't have game to begin with. A lot of men don't understand what game is. A lot of men think when you say having game, they think that you're playing games, right? They don't see game as techniques and strategies to have a successful relationship or have success in obtaining a lot of women. They don't see game as that. They see game as you're playing some type of game. You're not being ethical. You're not being moral. You don't have good intentions. It's maybe a little cynical. They see game how women see game, right? Well, some, not all. Some women, very few, but some women have game also, and they see game as such. They see guys as being smooth. Now, the issue is a lot of them, they don't understand that this element exists. You got to understand, everybody has a different reality. Everybody's life is different. Not everybody sees things the same. Not everybody perceives things the same, and everybody has a different paradigm. The things that you attract in your life, the things that you learn, your beliefs make up your reality. So a lot of guys, and I would say most, aren't aware of this knowledge. Which is why I can make so much money just talking about this, because a lot of guys will get a lot of solutions and they'll get a lot of answers from just TikTok. So imagine if they join Patreon. Imagine if they get that comprehensive course that's coming out, right? And the thing is that they just slack on their game. And I guess you can say that some men do, because they think once they get the relationship, that's it. But a lot of one big mistake that men make, they think, even the guys who do have game initially, and this is what I hear a lot when I speak to guys who book private consultations, they'll say, well, I got into a relationship, and then, once I got into it, it's just different. I like her more. And they may like this girl a little more than average. They might like this girl a little more than they have girls in the past. So because they like this girl so much, they feel as if she's special. They feel as if she's different from the others. And there's nothing wrong with thinking that, but that stems from a scarcity mindset. And it stems from a scarcity mindset because, I can, I know that one girl, I can have that special thing with just about any other girl. Not saying that she's not special, but there are so many women, and I have enough experience with women, and I've been with enough women, more than enough women, to know that this special relationship that I have with one female, I can recreate that with dozens others, versus a guy who has a scarcity mindset. They say, oh my God, this girl's special. But, I was talking to some guy in a sauna like a few months back, and he was just like, but what if you get with another girl? You're never going to find that one special girl again. That goes to mindset, because he doesn't have enough experiences, and he doesn't know how to create that experience, which is having game. So I think, to answer your question, a lot of the times it stems down to one, guys not knowing that they have to game their wife or game their girlfriend to keep a long-term relationship, which is take technique, it takes strategy, it takes something to learn. It's a course, it's something that you learn just as if you learn a school curriculum. It's very important, and it's something that you can pass down to your children, you can pass down to friends. And two, a lot of guys don't even know this element exists. And largely, besides, because a lot of people don't have the idea that you take responsibility for your life, and you're responsible for your life no matter what, right? It's like fighters who go in and lose a fight, and then they change their trainer. You don't change your trainer. At the end of the day, the trainer's not going in the ring with you. It's the advice that you chose to listen to. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you make the certain decisions. It's your intelligence. So it's the same thing with a relationship, right? Some guys are not going to take that responsibility, but I can see guys that don't have that certain mindset. They'll say, well, this is just what I was taught. And society does teach people to do that. It's like, society teaches you, oh, happy wife, happy life. That doesn't work, because when you say happy wife, happy life, you're implying that her feelings and how she feels and the things she wants trumps yours. Her feelings are better than yours, and it's a setup for failure. And that's not how society should be ran. That's not how it was run millennia ago, and usually it doesn't work that way. And I think there's a correlation with how you see fucking divorce rates. They're higher and they're initiated by women, but I think in most cases guys don't even know this element exists. They don't think that they should have to have game. They think game is playing games. They're never taught it. And I think most of all, a lot of guys don't want to accept it. They don't want to accept that this is a reality. They don't want to accept that they don't want to accept the fact that they have to have game. They don't want to accept that women can be this difficult. They don't want to accept that this is this difficult. So a lot of guys, even if they fail in one relationship, they'll throw a blind eye to it and just get with the next, and instead of learning relationship dynamics. Because the intelligent person is going to say, well, something's going wrong here. Like, I keep messing up. I keep having failures, and they'll just chalk it up to, oh, maybe I'm just not good relationships. Maybe I'm meant to be. No. Or maybe I haven't found my soulmate. No. It's just a lack of understanding, but I think that pretty much answers your question. Really long-winded.
Thank you, KB.
No problem.
Thank
No problem.
So I have another question. Like,
Go ahead,
you're
shoot,
talking
man.
about that special connection that you made. So, like, in your experience with women, if you mind telling, what was like your hardest, woman to like, get with, or is no such thing?
My hardest woman to get with? What do you mean? Like, was it hard to obtain her? What do you mean by to
Like,
get with?
like that special, like that I'm trying to break out from the scarcity
No,
mindset to
say
the
it
abundance
how you
mindset.
say it, because
Like, that's like the special one, like, the one that separates yourself from all the other rest. Have you ever met that one?
um I guess at one point I thought that was what it was. Um I guess one of my girlfriends, I guess until I became aware and conscious, I don't know. I guess you can say that I did have a girlfriend. I thought she was very different as far as her behavior and as far as how loyal she was, and she was a little different. Whereas she wasn't about being out and going out all the time. But then that whole idea of having a special girl was like kind of killed because I'm a person. You gotta understand when you're in a relationship with somebody, right? You're vibrating at a certain frequency, right? You're vibrating at a certain frequency, and then you attract certain things when you're vibrating at a certain frequency, right? So usually a lot of times what I see with people, and this is something I've done myself, when you break up with one person, you attract another person that's very similar to the person that you just broke up with. And why is that? Because you attract what you are, or you attract something similar. You attract the vibration that you're putting out. So your life is going to send back to you what you're putting out, meaning what you're putting out into the world, how you see things, your beliefs, the things that you like. So I think that to answer your question, after I had certain girls, I continue to attract the same type of girls as far as personality goes. So meaning girls that were submissive, girls that were, not difficult to deal with, girls that were pretty. Maybe the only thing that changed is their appearance, but personality wise, they're pretty good. They were pretty much the same. And then even still, when I attract those kind of girls, um, their personality was pretty much the same, but they were kind of like intelligent, and it was just I kept attracting the same generally. Nobody's exactly the same, but I kept attracting the same kind of girl. So to say that, like I said before, it wasn't really one that was more special because, your boy, like I said, I've been with a lot of girls. So, when you tend to have a lot of experiences, you start to see certain habits, and then when I continue to see it and it doesn't stop, it's like, well, she's like, and it's like if even if you go off looks, like she's beautiful, and she's even more beautiful. You get so many different beautiful girls with different looks. One is not necessarily better looking than the other, but just different. She looks different. She may have some assets that the other girls don't have. And then all of their personalities might be the same. So to say that one girl's more special than the other, it's really hard to say because I know that I can have that same special connection with that one girl and with the next. So I don't really I guess at one point I thought that one girl was special, but then it's like, well, I feel like now, at the age of 29, they're all going to do the same. They're all going to bend to my will eventually because I got good game. So I can't really say that one girl is really more special than the other, to be honest.
Word. Thank you for putting me on game, KB.
No problem. No problem. We got any more questions on the Zoom? So what we got on here? Knowing there's always more. Well, it's more or less an abundance mindset. What do you think of Kevin Samuels? I think he had good intentions. Rest in peace to him, right? Marriage has no benefit for a man. Nah, most girls are good. That's not true. Like, see, this is the extreme thing, and this is why I don't consider myself red pill. This guy, he says marriage has no benefit for a man, and most girls are good. I'm just saying that you gotta not care. That's not true. Marriage does have benefits. One, I'm someone who's relatively religious, right? So I'm Muslim. And you know, if I didn't have my religion, I would probably never get married. I'm being straight up honest with you. But I think because of religion, I will get married. That's one. Two, being with someone and having experiences of being with women and not necessarily living with them, but staying with them for days at a time, there is some benefit, right? I come home, and especially you're dealing with submissive women, it's a very enjoyable thing. They cook for you, they clean for you. And there is, even though it's fun to have a lot of different girls, there is something special and there is something cool about, being with one girl and having that one woman connection, right? There's some benefits in that. You can build together. There's a lot of different benefits there is from having um, one woman, right? Let's be real. Now, the thing is, some guys see it as if, well, I can do all those things on my own. But when you got a king's complex like mine, I don't want to do all those things on my own. I have somebody do it for me. Now I get it. I can pay somebody to do that without getting married. Um, I can I can you know, I can do all those things myself without ever getting married. anything that a woman can do, I can pretty much do myself. And I get that. And I don't disagree with that. But I think when you exceed to high levels of consciousness and awareness, I think that there is some benefit to being married, and there's a level of exclusivity. And a lot of the times you'll see when guys have one certain type of woman, um, it attracts more women to you. Even if you have a girlfriend just for like, you know, PR purposes, right? Just because you want to attract more girls and you want other girls to, be on you because there's been studies done that show that when a man does have a girl, you know, not always does it necessarily make him more attractive, but it raises an eye, especially if he has an attractive girl, you know. So it's like it creates this whole idea of pre-selection and a whole idea of curiosity to like, what is it about him that makes him get a girl like that? They're curious and like, oh, is he packing? Is he good in bed? Does he have great game? Or does he treat her really nice? Is he romantic? So there are some benefits, but I get what people say, but it's you can't say that, and I believe there's a lot of benefits from having it, but I just feel like that's that extreme red pill uh mindset. And just like what I just said, when you have game, a lot of these solutions are solved. That's that whole what's the Fresh and Fit podcast ideology, right? There's no benefit from having a wife and this and that and the third. Of course there is. And I have a pretty good success rate when it comes to fixing relationships because I understand relationship dynamics. When you have certain principles, and to be honest with you, a lot of these principles that I keep are from Quran and Sunnah, and like the Bible. Seriously, like these are general principles, and I base everything around a man being in charge of the relationship. And when I teach guys to do that in a way that's smooth and not just so, oh, I'm man, you woman, you do no, not like that. You have to be wise about it. You don't go and confront things. So I feel like once you understand relationship dynamics and the way I base it, I feel like you're gonna have a lot more success. I use a lot of divine principles, right? And I feel like they work excellently. You might run into a lot of problems, but I see girls all the time that, that, oh, it should be 50-50. It should be this, it should be that. Oh, 50-50. Okay. Well, be wise about it. I have a client that I'm telling him right now, and I won't say too much, but she wants to do 50-50. Okay. Well, when we go out, since you always pay the bill, she has to pick up the bill sometime. Okay. She picks up the bill and she might have a problem with that. Let's say if she's a very indecisive woman, and she always looks to you to make decisions. Well, I made a decision last time. It's your turn now. And my point is, you're going to put her in a lot of situations where it doesn't want to work. It's not going to work. So instead of saying, oh, you listen to me and you do this. No. Okay. Well, I'm going to show you want to try things your way. You have to be very extreme. Oh, so it's you hear a noise downstairs every night this week. You heard a noise downstairs, and he always goes downstairs. All right, well, since we're doing things 50-50, it's your turn. Go downstairs and go check on that noise. But I'm scared. No, you wanted things fair. We're doing things your way. I'm honoring what you said. Go downstairs and check on that noise. I'm going back to sleep. You want to be wise. You don't want to be impatient. You want to exert some type of wisdom and getting your point across. Because being brute force and arguing, it's going to get you nowhere. It's going to be like that new song on Kendrick Lamar album where they're cursing back and forth. You have to be intelligent with your approach. You have to be somewhat cerebral. You don't want to just be brute force because it doesn't always work that way. But yeah, he said I'm KB pilled. That should be the new term. How do I pin that? I wish I could pin that. He said I'm not red pill or blue pill. I'm KB pilled. Exactly. I should have my own pill. I'm agreeing, but you saying it attracts more girls if you're a cheater than sure if you marry. I'm not saying if you're a cheater. I said nothing about cheating. I'm just saying when you have a girl, right? And some people it might not even be a girl, right? Let's say if she's just somebody who plays a position as if she's a girlfriend, but you never actually give her a title and you guys have a clear understanding of what it is, and you post pictures of her, it'll make you more attractive and it'll attract more girls. I'm not saying cheat. I never say cheat, especially in a marriage, right? That's not something I believe in. And you bring up marriage, right? I would never. I don't even mess with married women because I would like for my marriage to be, you know, 1,000% blessed. Even though I think even if I did hook up with a married girl, I feel like my marriage would still be good. But no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying cheat. In Islam, getting
Yo,
married
KB.
is half of being. What's up?
So like, what do I do if I'm in a relationship and then I like another girl at the same time? Like, the girl loves me, but I like another girl at the same time. And you just talking about like not cheating. So like, how would I end the relationship and then like?
Well, you can. Well, that's up to you. If you want to cheat, you can cheat. It's not something I advise to do. Now, there's a way for you to. I put a video on Patreon because I just saw it. It was on the podcast, but I have it on the videos that it's unlisted, and it goes. And the video was how to put your girlfriend into a rotation. um, and basically you can do that. Well, one, you're gonna have to have honesty. You're gonna have to have honesty, and you're gonna have to do it in a way where eventually you break up with her. But then you say, well, you know, I still want to be with you. I love you, but I just need space. I can't give you the whole technique because, like I said, I don't want to give away too much sauce. But there is a way of breaking up with your girl and keeping her and putting her into a rotation while her knowing you still have other women. It'll be devastating to her, and I think the hardest part about it is getting over the moral hump of thinking like this is fucked up, this is bad. But listen, you can't feel bad if you're honest about it. If you made these disclosures that, listen, I just need time to myself, and you approach that situation in the correct way. um, but you can do it. I mean, if unless you just want to cheat, some people just cheat. But that's for the people who don't have a moral compass, right? They don't have that. Not everybody has the same morals and ethics. So the people that are going to cheat, they're going to cheat, and that is a possibility. Not something that I advise. That's not advice you got from me directly. I don't advise you cheat. So if you want that, you can break up with her and put her into a rotation. But there are certain procedures and steps that you should do to do this properly. Or you can just have two wives, right? You can go to a country where you have two wives, or you can convince them to be your wife without legally being married. There are different directions in which you can go if you love another girl, but you still have your girlfriend and she loves you, and maybe you want to have your cake and eat it too, so to say, because that's what cake is for. You fucking eat it, right? Um, but that's you can do that. Your approach needs to be correct, and it needs to be a process. And you need to slowly subconsciously open up this idea so she accepts it on a subconscious level, and then you have to take the proper steps to implement that. But it's very much so possible. Guys do it all the time. I've had about 12 guys do it. But some guys just don't want to accept the fact that, you know what it is, because a lot of guys get afraid that, oh, if I tell her that I have another girl, she's gonna stop talking to me, she's gonna leave me. No, she's not. I feel like in most cases it works better when you have money, um, because if you can change their life, they're a lot less willing to be combative about that. Especially when they don't have no other option. It's okay, you can accept it and go back to working your 9 to 5 and live like a poor person. Because I have rich clients too who do that, and it works excellent. And not only are these girls loyal, they accept it, and sometimes it turns into a little crazy, and turn into a lot of craziness. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does.
Did you have a
Thanks, KB.
follow-up question for it?
No, that was just like kind of it. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Guys, if you got any more,
KB,
what's up? What's up?
yeah, I got two questions, right?
Okay, one at a time.
So the first one, right? So say if you're dealing with like the shawty, right? And like you look better than the shawty.
Okay.
Like, does that affect does that like negate, or does that have a negative effect where like, oh, Johns will look at you and be like, oh, this guy looks 10 times better than his shorty? Like,
No, no. I guess they will. Well, first of all, it's only going to matter with you what you think, right? I remember one of my girlfriends in high school. She wasn't the best looking, but she had the equalizer, and the equalizer is a big old fat ass, right? And it was like a really really nice one. Rest in peace to her. She died. Maybe it's a little TMI, but um, she had a really big old fat ass, and oh man, we got 10 minutes, guys. By the way, if this logs off, I'm gonna put it back on for like maybe another 10 minutes. But if you have a girl and she's ugly, it only matters if you care, like if you care what other people think. Yeah, people will look at you and they'll make comments, and it happens. It happens all the time. And usually, when guys they don't aesthetically, meaning their looks don't match their girl, um, people will notice it. And what they'll say is what I think is when I see a situation like that, I'm like, oh, it's not something I speak of. I just say that maybe they're not like equally matched, and there's a big disparity because in most cases, like and naturally, you'll see most people who look a certain way, they'll fall into some type of correlation with their partner, meaning their looks won't be too far off. Maybe they won't be even. Maybe the guy look a little better than a girl, or the girl look a little better than a guy, but they won't be too far off. Like you won't see a 2 with a 10. Like you'll see at least like usually in most cases like a 7 or an 8 with a 9 or 10, or like a 6 with a 7 or a 5 with a 4. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's close on the same level. But I think most people just think that you don't know your worth. But usually when you cases like that, your relationship runs a lot smoother, right? Because
Nah, it is like that's the thing, but it's not like she's ugly. Like it's not like she's butt ugly or something. It's just that like my boys be telling me like, oh, like you could get this shorty. You're like this shorty at the club is like feeling you, and you're with this. But like she's mad submissive. Like I could do anything, literally. I could get away with anything. I could tell her anything, and she'll still be there. So it's like
well, yeah,
that's the
that's what usually what happens. It's like, and that's one thing those guys don't understand one game. They be like, oh, any other girl, I do this, I do that, but with this one girl, like I can't shake her. And usually because they're used to dealing with girls that are like, let's say a girl that's a 6, she's not that cute, and or maybe the girl's a little chubby, or she's like, she doesn't look as good as you aesthetically. So you're used to having your way with certain ways. But if you get a girl that's a little bit better looking and she's used to a certain treatment, because generally, like I said this before, generally girls are the same. Generally, girls are the same, but their experience with the world is a little different. So a girl that's a little prettier is used to a different type of treatment. She's used to getting her way a little more. She's used to just a different type of approach from men. So your approach with them is gonna be different too. And that's something you have to have enough intelligence to know how to approach the situation, given a girl's character and given her looks. Now, there are some girls who can act out of their look range, meaning there's a saying that I got from this guy Mike. He's another like a red pill guy. Like he's more of a PUA coach. I wouldn't really consider him a red pill guy, but he said there are girls who think they're 9s but they're really 4s. We call them 49ers, right? And you can have girls with this type of attitude, but you just treat them accordingly. But yeah, I mean, it's just like when you get the fat girl and she's not that cute and she's pretty obese, she's a lot more willing to accept anything versus a a girl that's used to having standards where you got to put a little more effort and a little more game just to obtain her. But yeah, it happens. That's what's gonna happen. But as far as what people thinks, that's up to you. It doesn't matter what they think. It's all about how you feel and how you're happy about it. If you're comfortable with that, then that's cool. If you're not, then do better. It is what it is.
got you. So the second thing, real quick. So I was trying to explain to my boys because we were talking about like relationship and stuff. So I was trying to explain like because the shorty I was messing with, like the other dude she was messing with, like prior, like the other 2 dudes were like.
Wait, start all over.
Like
start the question all over. Say it again.
I was trying to explain to my boys
Mm-hmm.
about like relationship dynamics and stuff because they're just like asking me, or they're like we're just having conversation, and I was trying to explain like because like the other 2 dudes that like my girl messed with before me, like they treated her like assholes. They would like ghost her for 2 weeks and not talk to her. They would like just like dickheads. You feel me? So I was trying to explain to them like I can't treat this girl. I could treat this girl a little better, yes, but I can't treat this girl far off because that's what she's used to.
There's some truth. There's some truth to it. Okay, we got 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, guys, just rejoin the Zoom because I'll just start it over again. But there's some truth to what he's saying. Now it's biological. It's a girl's. How do you say her? Hypergamy. It's wired in women to seek the most viable option as a husband or a man to reproduce with. So that doesn't always translate to actual brute strength, physical strength, but mental and your ability to walk away. So if you're showing too much if you supplicate to a woman too much, if you're showing too much pandering behavior and you're coming off weak, that will turn a woman off. So, a woman is always looking for her best option, right? Whether that be with money, whether that would be attitude. There's different ways of displaying higher value, and I don't mean like high value men. You can come across as being high value without only money, but these are the guys who have game. So, to answer his question, he's basically saying that he can treat her nice, but he can't treat her too nice. Now, you can treat her nice, and you just basically, there are ways going around it, because I've had guys who are just genuinely nice guys, but they don't have game. So once they understood that, oh, I can't be too overly nice because it doesn't work. Now these guys still be themselves and they're still nice guys, but they have little techniques. So instead of treating this girl bad, instead of treating her like shit, just sometimes they might not respond for a while. Or sometimes if the girl gets a little disrespectful, they won't check her on it. They won't say anything. They'll just go silent for some time. And then when they come back, she says, why did you do that? Honestly, I didn't like the way you spoke to me. And, and I really thought that was disrespectful. And I'm not the type to argue. And I would appreciate it if it didn't happen again. The girl be like, oh, well, maybe you should have told me. Well, I'm telling you now. And then if she goes off again, silence again. And she'll think twice before she starts talking to him. But he's not necessarily treating her bad. So you don't necessarily have to treat the girl bad, but I get your understanding and I get where you're coming from. I think you should be yourself. But if you don't know the techniques to implement to have that balance, then yeah, go about what you're doing it. But since you're on Patreon, you should learn these things. But that takes a little more creativity, because that's somebody who got personal coaching, and I taught him about that. But you can definitely still be yourself. Is it you want to go about it in a certain way? You can always be yourself, but just certain techniques, because you'll show that girl, even though you might come off as a pushover, your actions are going to display something else. So you don't necessarily have to treat her bad, but he's somewhat right in what he's saying. You can't just be super nice, because then she's going to take you as a pushover. But that might balance out, because if you look so much better than her, she's willing to be happy with whatever she's got. But nowadays, girls' mentalities are so messed up, I wouldn't risk it. Going based off looks, looks are only going to get you so far.
I appreciate that.
No problem. All right, what we got in the chat? I see we got some questions. KB, do you still learn about relationships and females' nature? Do I still learn about it? Yeah, I feel like you can always learn. There's deeper levels of learning. To say that you know too much to learn is just arrogant. You should always learn. Yeah, I'm always still learning. Let's see this question. I have a Q&A area. It says, what does this guy say? He says, how do you deal with motivation? I already answered that. He said no motivation. All right, guys. By the way, so this is what I'm gonna do. The Zoom is gonna end. I'm gonna restart it back up. So I'm gonna post it in a second. If you got a quick question that I can answer in like under 30 seconds, cool, because I got like a minute left. But if not, just hold your question. KB, how do you make prenups really work? Because many don't. That's a really good question, and there are ways of making it work. One, I just gave a way about well, it can help if you get the divorce first. And I guess I'll make that video on Patreon, but I'll also put that in the course. But there's a way of hiding your assets. You can hide your assets, especially if you have a business. You can hide your money. You can put your money in certain places. And also trust. Trusts are a big thing, like a trust fund. If you put it into a business trust, if you put it into a family trust, if you were to ever get divorced, she wouldn't be able to touch that. Like if you put the trust under your mom's name or under somebody else's name, they wouldn't be able to touch that. A trust is designated for certain people only. So I'm not sure about an IUL. That's a bit different. I don't know how that would work in a divorce, but definitely trust. You can put your stuff into trust, and you can, definitely protect your assets, and she won't be able to touch it. But it has to be worth, it has to be worth something. but yeah, you can definitely protect yourself in a divorce. You just have to be strategic. And I think one of the biggest problems with that is the guys are just very ignorant to it, and they don't know enough. So it seems like a scary thing, and it is a scary thing. But when you have a better understanding, it's not as scary. But that's why I get to make the big bucks, because you guys are ignorant. You guys are ignorant to it. You shouldn't take it any type of way. It is what it is. Oh, invite. Whips and chains like a dominatrix. When I see you, I spit in your faces. What if she got a OnlyFans after you asked her not to? Oh, come on with this stupid ass. Listen, if that's something different. It depends what is she showing on there. Like, if she violates it, there's no other question to it but to break up with her. What is she doing on her? Is she showing her body? Is she, showing nudity and stuff that you feel uncomfortable? There's no other answer but to break up with her. That's not even a question that you should ask. That should be like a given. That's not I would never. Whips and chains like a dominatrix. Question hour. Bro, I just saw the phone video. Ain't no way men are putting up with that out here. Bro, I'm gonna be honest. If she went against your boundaries, you have to just walk and show her. Yeah, you gotta be pretty stern. I mean, it all depends what it is. Not every situation is as extreme as you walking away, but it's all on a case-to-case basis. Not everything has to be so extreme. And that's one of the problems with the red pill community. They just chalk all girls up to being a certain way, and it's not always like that. Guys, if you're on Zoom, mute your mic so I'm not hearing myself. But if you guys have questions, shoot your questions. If not, mute your mic because I hear my echo. No, this will not be on Spotify. It will be on YouTube though. So if you hit the link in the bio and you go to YouTube, you can do that. I'm not sure if the link is working. I did mean to fix it. I'll probably do that after, but yeah, it'll definitely be on YouTube.
All right, so I got a question.
Shoot.
So say you're like this is the same girl too. So say if you got your way, like you could do anything, you could like she'll still be there basically. Mm-hmm. Like you can put her through anything and she'll still be there. Mm-hmm. Is that like a perfect rotation, John? Because like that's the thing. Like I know I got her where it's like she's there for good, and I kind of want to like talk to other girls. So would that be like the perfect rotation, girl?
Well, to answer your question completely, when you have this type of mindset, you set your you if you don't have the right understanding, you can set yourself up for a trap, because you care about this girl, you like this girl, but you also want to talk to other girls. Now, if she decided to go off and say, I'm done with you, and what happens most of the time is guys think they'll be able to walk away, but they don't, and they can't. Why? Because it's such a shock, and they're not used to that rejection dealing from that kind of girl, that when it does happen, they find themselves chasing them, and it almost works as a power play for her. Then you find yourself only wanting her, and you almost like tricked your mind into wanting her so bad that you don't want her to talk to other people, that you're just going to stay monogamous and stay loyal with her. Now, there are two types of men in this world. You have men who do what they want and men who do what they can. Right now, you're operating as a man who can do what he can. You know, you're going to go as far as that person lets you. You're not doing it from a place of abundance. You're doing it of a place because I know I can get away with it. Versus me, I'll deal with a girl and I'll know she won't be with it. But at the end of the day, this is what it is. Now you can take it or leave it. I do like you and I care about you. I want to be with you, you know, but that's one thing that you have to set up yourself for failure. Now, as far as putting into a rotation, of course you can, because the last guy just asked, I have a girlfriend, but I want to, what if I love another girl? If I want to talk to other girls, you can definitely put her in a rotation. But when you put women to a rotation, there's a procedure that you have to do. You have to do it in a proper way, and you have to be honest. You have to tell her what it is. Now, the question is, are you ready for her reaction? If you think that you can get away with it, sure, but be honest about it. Don't lie to her about it, because uh, then you subjugate yourself to being called a player, an asshole. How could you do this to me? Because if you don't make things clear and upfront, um, she's gonna think the situation is something that it's not. And you're going to subjugate yourself to being called all types of names outside of your one name. And a lot of guys make this mistake of, because they messed up or they lied or they got caught, they think that it's okay for a woman to disrespect them. They think it's okay to tolerate bad behavior because they did something wrong. Absolutely not. I don't give a fuck what I did. You know, I don't care if I cheated. I don't care if I did this. You're not going to talk to me crazy. If you don't want to deal with me anymore, that's fine. You don't have to deal with me at all. You can be done with me, but you're not going to talk to me crazy. And you can set yourself up for a situation like that. But yeah, you can do it. You can definitely put her into rotation. You just have to go about it the proper way, the right and proper way. And just make sure you built the attachment enough to where it's hard for her to walk away. And yeah, you can definitely do it. We don't have merch, but we got the Fisherman Shades. So hit the link in the bio and go buy yours today. I hope that answered your question, bro.
Yeah, it did. Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. If you guys got any more questions on the Zoom, just shoot. We'll be reading some stuff on. Do we have anything on YouTube? What's you guys talking about? You taking a lot of questions on YouTube, also on Zoom. Well, I'm not really taking questions on YouTube. I'm on Zoom, and the Zoom is from Patreon. So for anybody to be on Patreon, you have to anybody to be on Zoom, you have to first be on Patreon. So yeah. Glossy grow 5,000 doesn't cost as much. The glizzy grower, he said, the glossy grower, the glizzy grower 5,000, the way to make your Johnson bigger. Definitely. I think it's like $50 or $55 plus shipping. It's not super expensive. If you hit the link in the bio, you have to go to search. You got to go to the search bar. I think it's under like manhood. You got to go to the search bar and you hit the link in the bio, and then it should be there. But no, it's not as expensive. I think that's really cheap. $50. You know, you use it like a you got to see this exercise. You know, the more you work on it, the better results you get. No pain, no gains. And it definitely works. I did have a guy that messaged me on Patreon and said that he wore it for 4 hours a day, and I think he gained like 1.5 inches. But imagine if you wore it longer. Imagine you wore it 6, 7, 8 hours a day, even 5. I mean, what's an extra hour? But that's all of you. If you have that issue, or some guys don't even have issues, some guys just want more, right? You can have an 8-inch penis and be like, I want 10. What are we talking about here, guys? If you have like questions, try to put it in the question tab, so this way, like, because a lot of the times if I'm talking, the people keep putting stuff in the chat and I can't see everything. Should you let your girl have friends? Absolutely. That's extreme. Guys like that, shame on you. Because you know one of the problem is when you tell her she can't have friends, and then she's a loser because you made your girl a loser by telling her you don't like her friends, you don't want to hang out with friends, and then she always wants to be under your ass and want to hang out with you all the time, and then you're like, damn, like I don't want to see her all day, and you kind of ruin your relationship like that if you're not having healthy space. But it's usually your fault because you can't deal with your own insecurities. Guys, stop telling your girl she can't have a friend. And I said on Patreon, there's a way to get rid of the guy best friend or the ex, so you just have to be patient and exert some type of wisdom and, intelligence. Yo, would it be smart to talk to this girl in my class? Why not? Should you let your girl have friends? Yeah. Guys, if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. You got to speak. You sound really muffled. I can't hear you. Hello?
Yo, is it cool to ask on the Zoom?
No, I'm not. I'm not answering questions in Zoom. You want questions? You got to speak on the mic, brother. Come to the
On the mic?
altar.
Yeah, on the mic. Okay. So my question was, if like on social media, regarding social media, if you're like your LCR girl, like she still has added dudes who in the past they're basically like beta orbiters, like trying to link with her. Like, is that like, should I consider that as disrespectful, or should I just not like ignore that?
Well, you shouldn't ignore it. You should acknowledge it. But you're on Patreon, so I don't want to say it loud on here because I don't want to give it away too much sauce. But the same method that you would use to get away with the best friend, you can do that too. Because if you're paying attention to her Instagram, chances are she's paying attention to yours. And if she's not, make her.
Yeah, she's already said that she stalked the girls I follow and shit like that.
Okay, well, if you don't complain about it, what you do is you mirror her energy, and when she complains, then you bring it up. And I'm gonna just say that for now, and that's really the solution. But if you go and look on Patreon and you look at how to get rid of the guy best friend or the ex-boyfriend, it's the same technique. Just do it with Instagram.
That's facts, yeah. Because I watched that. Yeah, you told me that I watched that, and she hasn't spoken to him since last month.
There you go. It works.
That's progress, but it's hard to know when to draw the line on some shit involving male friends.
Well, listen, you should always draw the line on it. The key. Oh shit! I got food falling in my mouth. The key is not to complain about it. The key is not to come off insecure about it. You have to be wise.
Facts.
Never complain about it, because once you complain about it, she'll try to use it against you. And if she feel like she has leverage on you, some girls, I'm not saying your girl is like this. There's always exceptions, and everybody's a little different. But a lot of girls say, okay, I see this triggers him. Okay, well, some girls will use that as fuel or use that as ammo.
Right. Yeah, like it's at the point I'm 90% sure if I fucking told her to delete every fucking dude, like she'd do it, but I'm not trying to come off insecure, so I'm just trying to pick and choose.
Don't do that, because it'll come off as a problem, and a lot of guys shoot themselves in the foot when they do that, because when she tells you to do it, she expects you to do the same thing. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, facts. But I mean, if I said delete him, she'd do it, but I don't want to look like a fucking loser beta.
Yeah, don't do that.
Delete him.
Yeah, no. Don't do that. That's not my school of thought. I don't like that, because you're gonna run into a lot of problems when you do that. So, like I said, when you really have a problem, you go about it in a wise way. Remember, you move with intelligence. You don't want to be like the average Joe who's gonna come off and controlling, and then she's gonna use that against you and say you're insecure and use that as an excuse for her to have a way. And then when you start to do that, not only are you coming off quote unquote insecure, she's also gonna say not say, but it's also gonna turn her off, and it's gonna kind of kill some of the attraction. Be bold and be somebody who can't be moved. You keep your poker face. It's chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? You want to play chess moves. So just always.
My last question: how would you apply like dread in an LTR without it being like weird, like ghosting for like many hours at a time?
There are a lot of different ways. So there's a video on Patreon. It's called the 4 different types of anxiety. That's
anxiety.
So basically dread game is just anxiety. And anxiety, there's been studies done that anxiety, I think it was the University of Jerusalem or something like that. They put out a study that anxiety in a relationship actually increased a woman's attraction. Now it was just done on women. I'm pretty sure same thing can work vice versa, but men usually are not as emotional as women. And silence is very powerful. Now, some people will say that's manipulation, but women manipulate all the time. I don't think it's manipulation. I just think it's a really good game, especially if you know what you're doing. Now, if you look at the video, the different types of anxiety, I think I put 4 different types of anxiety, but those are just 4 variations. When it comes to anxiety, you can do things that will that you just basically be creative. if you know there's something that she doesn't necessarily like and it's not too extreme, like cheating. Some people use cheating as anxiety. Some guys, it all depends on your moral compass. Some guys use cheating as anxiety because they don't have a moral compass. They don't give a fuck about cheating. So they'll do that and the woman will stay. But this is one of the keys to a long-term relationship is highs and lows. So you have to understand anxiety. And when you implement that anxiety, you're going to stay on the front of her mind, but you want to make it seem coincidental and incidental. You don't want to make it seem deliberate. And if you do, it has to be a really good reason. So there are a lot of different ways. So watch that and then use different variations. I seen one way on TikTok. It was really funny. And the guy was like, when I'm upset at her, I'm not going to fight with her. I'm not going to argue with her. I'm just going to go get food without her. That's really creative. But when it comes to implementing anxiety, besides the reason I gave other reasons, other ways of implementing anxiety or quote unquote dread game. So you can go look at that, but then also be creative, but you want to be wise about it. Because
one thing I do like after an argument, I'd be like, okay, I need space, and I won't text her for the rest of the night and well into the next day.
Yeah, that's cool, but that gets old after a while.
Right. Yeah. I don't use it.
Yeah,
I use it sparingly.
It gets old after a while, especially when you've been with somebody a long time and it becomes a habit and they know you. You got to be a little bit unpredictable. So
it's like, fuck, you got to find new ways to cause dread.
Yeah, but you got to do it rightly. And some things don't always call for it. In some situations, it's okay. Some but few. It's okay to communicate. I know guys, they do it a little too much because they take advice from women and everybody inside. Oh, you got to communicate. You know, fuck all that. You don't want to talk too much.
I follow that trap of always or sometimes reassuring too much.
Yeah, no, you don't do that. But every once in a while, it's okay to talk. It's all right. It's okay to talk. But other than that, now you gotta be creative.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
All right, so this is a question kind of backing what he's saying. But say if you implement anxiety, right? So say if you go without talking to your girl, but prior to you going without talking to your girl for a couple of days, she ready you ready put down the boundary that I'm busy and I'm not gonna have time for you, or I'm not gonna be talking to you every day. I'm not gonna be talking to you 24/7 like the other guys. You feel me? I'm busy. I'm on my shit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's cool with me ghosting for 2 or 3 days and me hitting her back up.
Mm-hmm.
Do I go longer?
But why would you go longer? What is the reason? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to implement anxiety?
That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to do. But sometimes I really do be busy where it's 2 or 3 days I'm not talking to her. But she doesn't know the difference.
Well, that's one of the problems with it. I'm gonna tell you a few problems with that. One, like I said, you're operating from a place that you're doing what you can get away with. I would tell you 95 to 85% of girls are not going to be cool with that. Most of them are not going to be cool with that. The ones that are cool are with that, cool. Maybe she just doesn't have options. Maybe she's okay with that. But a lot of women aren't going to be okay with that, especially American girls. Now, and that's the right way to do it, guys. When I first talked to a girl, I set these standards and boundaries hey, I'm a really busy person. I'll send a text here and there, but I'm not going to be able to communicate with you all day, every day. Because I'm not that kind of guy. And me just in general, see, I'm on live on both of my phones. I'm not on live on this phone, but I should be, right? But I'm somebody who it's hard for me to concentrate on a lot of things at once. I'm very submerged in whatever I'm doing and I'm very focused, right? So say if I'm at the gym, I work out twice a day. When I'm at the gym, unless I'm listening to music, I'm not talking on my phone. So it's hard to get a response out of me then. And then say if I'm doing a live, if I'm working on my course or I'm reading, if I'm praying, whatever it is, I'm really submerged in what I'm doing. So I set these standards from the beginning. Hey, I'm a really busy person and this is how I operate. And a lot of girls still even have a problem with it because they never dealt with a guy like that. And it's hard for them to understand how you can't text me for 8 hours, not even a text, not even nothing. So a lot of girls have a problem with that, but they just need a guy that's more available. And it comes with their problems. Now with her, if you're trying to implement anxiety, you're going to have to find different ways of implementing anxiety, but she's a very patient girl. So, you
that's what I'm saying. I've never seen a girl that patient. That's the thing. It's weird.
But see, the thing is, that patience could be an indicator of something else, that she out here getting some side dick. that could be an indicator of something else, because if something doesn't add up, say for example, if she's very patient with that, but in other things she's not so very patient, it's You're very patient with this, but you're not patient with that. She could be out there messing with other people. Now, you know her well enough to determine that. I don't know your situation well enough, but that could be an indicator of that. Or it could just be an indicator if she is that patient, you have to just find different ways of implementing anxiety. But it sounds like the perfect situation. She sounds just so happy to be with you that it doesn't even seem like you have to do too much. Like I said, with a girl that's 8, 9, or 10, you're gonna consistently have to implement different types of game because they're just used to different types of treatment. But somebody who's not as good looking, you don't have to implement as much game because they're just so grateful to be with you. They'll just about accept anything. So you might have a situation where, I mean, you made it a thing. You said she's not ugly, but you made it a thing as to where that's the case. So that might be the case. You might have to implement that much game, but that's on you. You know her. I don't know the situation so specifically, but you would have to determine which one it is. If you guys love the glasses, go to fishermancentral.com and purchase yours today. Just hit the link in the bio. If the link isn't working, let me know. I'll fix it. But just go to fishermancentral.com. But yeah, bro, I hope that helped answer your question.
Yeah.
This guy says, I was talking to a girl and she seemed super interested in the beginning. I think you mean beginning. A few days later, she asked how old I was. 2 years younger than her, and then she ghosted me. Should I just move on? I don't think that was your issue. 2 years, that'll only apply if you're like in fucking high school, right? Girls care about that stuff, but that doesn't matter. That you can't blame that on. Yeah, if she just ghosted you and she's not texting you anymore, and you like double text her, like, all right, clearly the girl's just not interested, or she found somebody else a little more intriguing. You got to understand nowadays these girls got a lot of options, but that's not the reason. There's most likely a flaw in your approach and a flaw in your game. And if you're 20 years old and she's 22, that shouldn't make a difference. I can understand some girls are used to talking to a lot of older guys, especially at that age, but it won't make that much of a difference. You just, there's something about you that wasn't as appealing. So I guess she just said, no. Or she had another option that she deemed a little more appealing. But just, exercise your options. So where can I find specific studies on female nature? Hit the link in the bio. Listen to my podcast. Listen to, I think it's the podcast where I put my studies support my theories. Also the journal Psychology. Look up a lot of psychology magazines and a lot of psychology books, but they're not necessarily female nature. You have to independently look for these studies, because the studies aren't going to be like female nature. They're going to be on the female nature. Maybe you can find some if you Google it or use certain search engines, but it's not going to be under that. It's going to be under like study of like anxiety in a relationship or studies on relationships and stuff like that. But you're not necessarily going to find like under that title.
So I watched some video. You were talking to one of your plates, I assume, and it was like you were talking like you were manipulating the conversation, like using emotion and shit. Like I wanted to, like, what more videos that you have on that? Because that shit's kind of like speaking to, because men are used to like a logical type shit, but it's more you can speak in an emotional frame to change how a woman's feeling about something.
What do you mean? Like what exactly are you talking about?
So in the video, she was complaining about, oh, I don't see you as much, and you like flipped that on her and made it seem like shit. I don't remember. It was crazy shit. You confused me how you were talking. It was she was like, oh, I don't see you as much, and you were like, wow, I just saw you the other day, so obviously you're wrong. You fucking gaslit her into thinking she was dumb, and then I think she came over that night or the next day.
Yeah, See,
So like more videos on how to
so what's your question exactly? Are you just
like
asking for more videos?
like more content for that? More content is there? Try to find or do you have any more to drop? Like shit
I'm
like
not sure if I have more of it. Those things are kind of hard because you know, you're playing with people's lives. You know, I try
that.
not
It's
to.
like 30 minutes of gaslighting. She was
As
funny as fuck.
I don't, you know, people call it gaslight. I don't call it gaslight. I call it game.
Gang. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because I try doing it with my girl, and like it makes the conversations like so much better. Like just being able to play around type shit and
but you know, the question, the thing is that took time. That took time to get that person like that. It was an old conversation, but it was just something that I remember I had on my phone. But it took time, and but that whole situation was a girl that is just used to, and she actually since then, you know, that was it was a while ago, but she ended up saying that, oh, she's done with me, she's not talking to me anymore. I guess because I promised her that I would hang out with her, but I never did. And eventually,
she stood on that.
huh?
And she stood on that.
We'll see. But I haven't hit her back. She still follows me, she still looks at all my stories. But I know I could always I could just like hit her up and be like, hey, I'm gonna come over. What are you doing? Or something like that, right? And because this is a girl who genuinely fell in love with minimal effort, it's because this kind of girl never encountered somebody like that. And now she chalks it up to guys who have a lot of attention that I'm not, that's somebody who I don't want. And maybe that may be preferable for her. Because she had posted something and it was like guys who have 100 followers versus 10,000 followers or something like that. And I have like,
Ego.
yeah, because it's like more or less it's a perception that this guy has a lot more options. This guy is not as much as a player, I guess, quote unquote, whatever it is, because I was always honest. I never lied about anything. I always said, yes, I talked to this person, I talked to that person. She asked me, did you have sex with other people? Yes, I did. And obviously, like, she got checked up, so everybody's clean, so that's not even an issue here. But the thing is with that is, you know, it maybe somebody for her is not somebody who has an abundance mindset, not somebody who's genuinely busy, not somebody who's running businesses. And I tell girls that all the time. If you're complaining about a guy, just leave. But it took that girl months, like 6-7 months to leave. And I always said, hey, if you want to stop talking to me, that's fine. I respect it. I won't hold you back. I'm not holding you hostage, you know? And that ability to walk away just attracted her even more and raised her attraction even more. Now, if she's serious on it, I don't know. It's been some time since I talked to her, but I'm pretty sure if I hit her up, she's not going to say no. But if she does, I respect it, you know, and I'm like, okay, cool. But there are a lot of situations where I go against the rules and I do things that I tell you guys I'm doing because I want to test myself. I want to see what I can and get away with, what I can get away with and what I can't, you know, and it makes for new content, you know, so. But I've done that, and I've done that in the past before. But you know, you know, it all depends. Like I said, it all depends who you're dealing with. It all depends. And I consider that girl not to be like super, super crazy good looking. Some guys would consider her crazy good looking. Some guys would consider her a 9 or a 10. I wouldn't consider her a 10. I consider her like maybe a 6 or something like that. But it all depends on your standards. It all depends who you're dealing with. So. But yeah, I'll try. I'm not too crazy about that kind of content because it's like you got to understand. I'm also live. I'm public. Like I don't know who's looking. I don't know if motherfuckers joining my shit just to spy. You know, I don't know if that can ever get back to her. I might have some haters that are on Patreon that want to find that girl somehow, some possible way and go get her. You know, so
save her.
Yeah, or go try to expose me. So I try to be wary with that. But if I do, I make sure it's circumstances where I won't like, you know, put too much of my personal business out there. But yeah. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna stay on about maybe, let's see, 10 more minutes. Get in your last questions while you can. Guys, if you're on TikTok and you got questions, put it in the question box. If you're on YouTube, put your questions in the question box. Yeah, just a little late, buddy. Just a little bit. Uh, he says, what is this? He says, how should I respond to a girl when a girl, how should I respond when a girl asks, what are we? You tell her we're ordinary people, like John Legend. We are ordinary people. We don't know which way to go. We are ordinary people. And then you gotta tell her, maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, oh. But no, that when girls say that and you're not ready for they asking for a relationship. You let her keep asking until you actually want to give it to her. You might never want to give it to her, but you tell her, shit, we humans, baby. What you mean? What are we? What are you? Girls show interest few months after rejecting. Girls show you asking me, do girls show interest a few months after rejecting, or are they, I don't understand the question. Are they showing you interest? Do she show interest after you reject? Who's being rejected? I don't understand. Well, we got too much dread game will get your girl stolen. This is a scarcity mindset. Let's point him out. Let's point him out. Everybody type in the chat, scarcity mindset. So, you know, I'm dealing with a client. I'm not, obviously it doesn't matter if I say his name or not, because you guys don't know what he is. I'm not going to say his name anyway. So you'll never really know who he is. And I'm telling him to implement a certain amount of dread with his girl, but he feels as if, you know, if he implements too much dread, it's going to push her away. And guys who have this mindset, they don't have the correct fundamental understanding. Now, I'm creating a course on this, right? And one of the first slides in the course, and I'll give this for you for free. It's called a fundamental understanding. Now, the fundamental understanding comes from the premise that the person who holds the most power in a relationship is a person that cares the least. The person who cares the most usually falters with having a significant amount of power in a relationship. Now, people who tell you that power is 50-50 and the decision should be equal and shared, it's fake. That's not real. It doesn't exist. Now, even if you do care equally, and a person who is pretending to care less will have the most power, right? So, and this happens a lot in relationships where a woman may love you to death and you guys may love each other equally, but she might start to test you. Like, oh, if she's upset at you, she's not going to talk to you. And then what guys go wrong is they start to pander to her. They start to, oh, baby, please don't go. Like, please talk to me. And then this theme stays consistent. The theme stays consistent, and then they start to do that over and over. And then the girl knows, oh, he ain't going away. He gonna beg for me if I leave, and he better give me my way. So then it becomes a habit. Oh, he don't give me my way, I'm gonna walk away. And then till she kind of starts to lose attraction. So, one, you have to have that fundamental understanding that if you do leave, whatever the fuck ever, right? I don't care because I don't have a scarcity mindset. But that has to be genuine. Like I said, like you can have one girl, right? And that same special experience you have with that one girl, you can have with just about any other girl. And it comes from a scarcity mindset when you see, oh, this girl's so special that I can never have this experience ever again with anyone else. That's because you don't have a lot of experience with girls versus somebody like myself who have a lot of experience with girls. And I don't think one girl is very special. Not saying she can't be special to me, but not special to the point where I can't find that in someone else. So that's the root. That's a core belief and an understanding that you should have, right? And I guess you got to have a lot of experience to come to that understanding, because to feel it and to actually experience is one thing, but to have the understanding of it and not actually implement it is another. Now, if you implement too much dread and you know what you're doing and the attachment is right, yeah, you can push her away if you just completely ignore her. Yeah, don't be an idiot. But that's extreme. That's being an extreme in your approach. You shouldn't ignore the girl for days and weeks at a time. Like I remember one guy, he was on Patreon. He said, yeah, he spoke to his girl. He saw his girl every 3 weeks. Yeah, this girl's going to cheat on you, bro. Like what? Especially if you don't speak to her. He's like, yeah, I only speak to her like once a day. Sometimes some days I don't talk to her, but she's still my girlfriend. I only see her every 3 weeks. Yeah, you can't realistically think that this girl is gonna be loyal to you and you barely even speak to her. I can see if you speak to her a lot and you have a long distance relationship and you only see her maybe once or once every other week, maybe that could even work. But yeah, you got to be balanced in your approach, like it's that's too much. It's too much. So yeah, if you implement too much dread, I guess you can in theory, but that's a scarcity mindset. My whole thing is if a girl wants to leave me, that just gives me an opportunity to start new with someone else. And these girls that come and go so easily, and whether I want them to stay or not is up to me, because it's just matter if I want to work for them, if I want to say, hey, I want you to stay, and I'll put in a little more effort and I'll build that attachment until I know she loves me. Right. But if a girl wants to leave, if a girl I love leaves, yeah, I'll be a little sad, but am I gonna chase her? No. There's so many different girls out there. I couldn't sleep with every girl in the world if I wanted. It's like so many. Like, how can what? There's so many different kind of girls, so many different flavor, body shapes, different personalities. It's like when I see a girl, it's like, damn, not just sex as you think about. It's like, damn, I wonder what it would be like to like interact with her. I wonder how she is. I wonder if I can change her mind about being submissive. That's a real abundance mindset. And most guys don't have that. So yeah, you got to change your mindset, buddy. All right, Zoom guys, I'm about to end this off. So any last questions before I get up out of here? You got 5 minutes. Speak or forever hold your peace until I'll be back probably tomorrow. What to say? Go to tell my girl. I think he meant got to tell my girl to cut her male friends off. I just went over this. If there's a you don't never tell her. Don't tell her. Because if you tell her, you will come off insecure or she'll try to use that against you. There's a lot of problems you run into when you do that. You want the answer? Here's the answer. Subscribe to Patreon or wait for my full relationship course. That will be less. It's not $1,000, not $500 like a lot of these guys. It's going to be under $200. It's going to be under $200. But I'm going to make a full course from everything from checking your girl, how to get away with cheating, how to keep her long term, the whole love thing. Everything is going to be on there. And a lot of this stuff is on Patreon, but it's not organized. Patreon's like a big ass library, and a lot of you guys are lazy. You don't want to look for it. But yeah, you can get rid of her male friend without even have to even bringing it up to her, without even have to say in a word. That's a real game. A lot of motherfuckers on TikTok don't even know how to do that.
How do you push for a threesome if your girl's bi?
Oh, that's easy. If she bi, just be like.
But she already said that she doesn't like sharing or whatever.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Be like, listen, this girl think you cute. And once you get the girl, most likely if that's the case, you're gonna have to get the girl. And you just gotta push for it. You gotta be like, well, hey, I honestly don't want to do this behind your back. If it's your girl, then you gotta finesse it a little bit. But first you have to entertain the idea. But like, yeah, especially if she's bi, be like, what would be great if I was clapping another girl while she doing this to you. I was clapping you while you was doing this to another. You got to
try that shit. That she was not going.
It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. You got to push, or you could just be straight up with it. Well, I'm gonna do this. So, wait, which one is this? The one that you got? You got the funny looking. All right, which girl? This the one that you got a funny looking girl, or you got the girl that you can get away with a lot of stuff?
What do you mean? You remember?
That's crazy.
That's the other dude. Hey, nigga, you put it like that. I didn't say she was funny looking. You said that.
Nah, I promise you, she's not funny looking. She cute.
All right, but you you can do better. Now I feel you. But nah, the point.
Nah, bro. Every 3 days is crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
What do you mean?
No, his girl, he talks to her every 2 days.
Yeah, that is wild.
It's either she not cute or she getting clapped. I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah, it has to be one of them.
Nah. You gotta realize, bro. Like, sorry to cut you off, but it's like it's not like me like cutting her off every 3 days. Like, I text my girl, you feel me? But it's like certain times, like I'm busy. Like I just be like not talking to her for like 3 days type shit. But like she's used to it because the nigga she messed with before like would ghost her for 2 weeks at a time. So it's like,
Well, holy shit. I was like, talk about fucking standards. Holy shit. But like I said, that's something that you that's just something that you can get away with. But that that is kind of the perfect situation to have other girls. So it's definitely easy to put her in a rotation. But you know what, Keem, I'm definitely gonna make a video on that. Swindling your girl into a threesome. But you're gonna have to take some steps. It's gonna be a lot of steps that you gotta put it through. You gotta kind of break that boundary. You gotta joke a lot. You to the point where she almost thinks that you're gonna do it. And you can, like, I don't want to say give her an ultimatum, but there is a way, because I don't want to say
the nice thing, I saw she flirted with this one gay bitch on Instagram, so I was like, okay, we should fuck her, like, or she should eat you out while I fuck her or something like that.
All right, you're gonna get me kicked off a goddamn TikTok.
My bad, man.
No,
like,
I
she
get it.
lost her mind.
I get it. Yeah, but you gotta you gotta how do you say, you gotta desensitize her to it so much that because she's not gonna leave you for it. And you gotta desensitize her too much.
I'm like, bitch, if you gonna flirt with her, we may as well try to do something.
Exactly. You gotta desensitize her to it, but a lot of problems come with that I've seen from relationships. Like I know guys who do it, and then they end up keep messing with the girl after, and because a lot of guys don't keep that moral compass with it, and they just do it whatever, and then the girl has a problem with it. But yeah, I'll make a whole video on that. You just gotta remind me, because that's because I'm not gonna be able to give it to you in less than a minute. But all right, guys, I'm getting off of here. I'll see you guys. I'll try to be back tomorrow. I'll see you guys. We're gonna end up this video. Oh, thank you everybody for joining. I'll stay on TikTok a little bit longer because I want to answer a few of those questions, and I'm get out of here. Everybody on YouTube, thank you for joining. We got any questions? Facts. What are your thoughts on Tate? I don't know who. I keep saying everybody. Who's Andrew Tate? Nobody. And I asked you guys to send me him. I don't know who that is. I don't know who Andrew Tate is. KB, I need your help with something I'm going through. Book a private consultation. Hit the link below. I just put my link tree. I didn't even put a bio in this video. And text my assistant, and she will give you the details on trying to book a private consultation. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. He says, what do you think I need to tell you? I'm late. Damn. All right, I'm out of here, guys. All right, last few questions.